Okay, I'm live. Hopefully, you guys can see me and hear me. Let me know in the chat. Apologize for the lateness. I picked 9:30, but apparently my computer is on the wrong time zone. So, thanks for somebody saying I'm late. I noticed that it actually was scheduled for 8:30, even though YouTube said 9:30, because this computer is on the wrong time zone. So, yes, we are live live at the Hilton. Even though it's not a Hilton. But so if you can hear me, that's great. Throw one in the chat to make sure. I think the internet speed here, I have good download, but I'm having to tether through my phone. So I think the upload is really crappy. And Danny, actually, I was going to drop you an email with a link. So give me 2 seconds. This mobile streaming setup is awfully fun. Okay, super prepared as always. Thought I had still like 45 minutes to get ready for this thing, so appreciate your patience and scrambling. So I'm a bit discombobulated here trying to get my thoughts together. So you notice from the thumbnail, what I want to talk about is Arcade1up's strategy, which I think we now have a clear strategy from this company based on the last two releases and really looking back into last year. And because of that strategy, I think we can come up with a really, really decent roadmap that may be, some of it may be pie in the sky, but I think there's a strong probability that some of these things will happen. So you noticed first from the thumbnail, right? Everybody's been talking about it. It's the Golden Tee Deluxe. And now we know it's going to actually be $499, not $599 like Wayfair had it. As you know, Wayfair traditionally likes to put retail prices much higher than they actually are. And thanks to NFM, we know that the real price is in line with every other Deluxe at $499. But why? What is important about this information coming out now? And I gave it away in the thumbnail, right? This cab is being released purposefully because it's Masters, right? The April is when the Masters is held. So what better time to release a new cabinet than during the Masters, a new Golden Tee? And this is on top of X-Men 97, which was released to coincide with the Marvel show. Now, obviously, with that, Arcade1up had to go out and get, permission to use the X-Men 97 art, but clearly they coincided it with that release. We've also heard other rumors, right? So the two big rumors we know about, AVP, which was leaked last year, and a lot of people think won't happen. I still am pretty sure it's going to happen. It's going to be our first Big Blue Deluxe, and it will be released this summer to coincide with the release of Alien Romulus. So it'll be interesting to see, based on what feedback they got about the demand for that cabinet, how Arcade1up changes things. But I do think I think there's a better than 50% shot that thing is actually going to come out based on this strategy that Arcade1up seems to be following. The other cab, which I think we all feel probably is a bigger of a stretch, but based on the fact that Walmart themselves are the one who put up the listing on the stool, we may actually see track and field. And why would we see that? Again, we've talked about this before. Other people have talked about it. But this July is the Olympics. If you're ever going to release track and field, if you're ever going to do it, along with the Olympics, is about the only time you're going to convince retailers to jump in on that cab. And so what better opportunity than the Olympics to sell that? I, for one, am actually excited for a track and field. I know not necessarily everybody is, but that is a game I have loved for a long time. I own Track and Field 1 and 2 on NES. I have Track and Field on the PlayStation 1. I think it's International Track and Field is what it's called. I have the 2 Track and Fields on Famicom. I've just always enjoyed that game, even though the Olympics itself I'm not a big fan of. I've always thought that that was a fun game. And if they go the extra mile and actually make the events that are head-to-head actually online, I think that would be really cool. But even with track and field, just scoring online would be really cool, because online high scores, everybody's going to be trying to set world records. You know, the high scores in that game, I think, matter much more. And what happened to my camera? Let's see here. So for some reason, this stupid thing says it was unplugged, and it was not. Okay, I backed out and came back in, whatever. So the fun of trying to do this on a a wing and a prayer. So as I was saying, track and field, and hopefully you can still hear me, because I just clicked back and then came right back in. Hey Papa Brad, hey Video Game Vegas, Stupid Fat Hobbit, Zero Redux. I didn't say hi to everybody, but here we are. So track and field, like I said, is, I think, something that we have a decent chance, though it's still an outside chance. But if we're ever going to get it, now's the time we're actually going to get it. And I'm just playing with the camera here, trying to get a better shot. So that's where I am on track and field. So let's go beyond that. We know that Arcade1up also likes to participate in Evo. Last year is when Arcade1up chose to release the HS5 Deluxe, their big re-release of Street Fighter II in the cabinet design we all wanted. I think it was probably one of their most successful cabs for the year. It can be used to create all different kinds of custom cabinets, so people are buying multiple of these things. And so I think at Evo, we're going to see a new Street Fighter. And what is the theme for Evo this year? Third Strike Street Fighter 3. So could we actually see a new Street Fighter from Arcade1up? We know that the PCB is strong enough to play that game. We know they have an existing relationship with Capcom. We know Evo, that is the centerpiece game at Evo. What better splash could Arcade1up make than showing up to Evo with a new HS5 sporting Street Fighter 3 Third Strike? Again, probably a long shot, because they would really have to make an investment to turn that thing into, from development standpoint, to make it multiplayer, online multiplayer. But if that's where they've been putting their resources for this year, that would be a huge win for them. And again, following the same strategy of coinciding all releases this year with a big event, that one does it. And it would be probably, aside from the AVP track and field, it would be another new cab for the year. So potentially 3 brand new cabs. And so we can keep pushing that out. What other cabs might we see in the future? We know Tron is now completely sold out. And as we look forward into 2025, we have the release of Tron 3. So could we see a Tron Deluxe in the first part or midway through 2025? The other big movie coming out in 2025 is Mortal Kombat 2. The interesting thing about Mortal Kombat 2 is this is the first one of the new series that will actually star Johnny Cage, and that would be played by Kyle Urban, which I think is an interesting cast because he's like got to be in his 40s, almost 50s at this stage. And for him to be playing Johnny Cage is interesting. But could we see a deluxe MK1 in 2025 to coincide with the release of MK2? If we do, I think it will likely have new art. I think it will be inspired by MK1, but may actually feature Kyle Urban on the side instead of the traditional Johnny Cage. So I think those are 2 we could see coming next year. So with that being said, I put together a roadmap of sorts. And these are the kinds of things, in my opinion, Arcade1up should be doing. So hopefully you guys can now see that roadmap. So a couple other ones I didn't talk about. You see in here in September of 2024, we have PAX West. Again, PAX West is where Arcade1up debuted the Atari 50th. They were guests at Atari's booth. I believe they also showed Galaga at that location, or at that event in that where they also believe they showed Galaga Deluxe there. But I think we could see the Atari 50th cab reskinned as asteroids at that convention. And of course, here I show the 2 cabs in 2025, but we also have on here the October release of a new Golden Tee XL. So I don't think it'll be the same one, and I don't think it'll be an exact copy of the Deluxe or the previous XL. I think we potentially will have a new marquee title on that cab. Maybe it's Golden Tee 99. Maybe it's one of those specific years. I don't necessarily think it'll have a new PCB, but I do think it'll have a different title, and maybe, tweaking the side art a bit for that. And then lastly, I would anticipate we're going to get one other release. I don't have an opinion on what that will be, so I left that open as there potentially will be another release. And that would give us essentially 6 to 7 new Deluxe titles and 1 XL for the year. Last year was a big year. They released 12, almost 1 every month. What we're looking at now, I'm anticipating, is about 2 a quarter. Many of those being released right on top of each other, or at least announced right on top of each other within a month of each other. So we'll see. I'm interested what you guys think, what might come out. And Jason says there'll be a Namco cab this year if they do delay MK1 to next year. I think that's certainly possible. I really thought Costco, if they were smart, they sold 13,000 of those Pac-Man XLs that they would just jump on Miss Pac-Man XL. To me, that seems like a natural transition. And it's interesting. I don't know if you guys are still following the John D chat on Facebook, but on Friday, John D questioned the sales number on Pac-Man XL. He thought there was no way they actually sold 13,000. He questioned what the source was. And so in that discussion, he actually went and contacted somebody at Arcade1up and confirmed 100% they did sell 13,000 Pac-Man XLs. And coming from John D, who knows the kind of numbers they do, to be shocked and surprised at that, I think says a lot. I think that's probably more than he could ever have anticipated they sold. We know from him, basically, they shoot for around 3,000 minimum on these things to make sure they make. We know they've bet big on some titles and been forced to pay dearly on that. But if they're targeting around 3,000 on most cabs, for something to sell 13,000 of them like that is probably a smash success in their book. So it seems odd that they wouldn't go right back to the well on that. And yeah, Jason, I think, Jason here mentions, I don't know why this isn't showing. There we go. Says, if the XLs weren't gone, they would be at Synergy, Shop Hippo, and other places discounted. I think that's absolutely right. But I think he questioned they even manufactured that many. There are just over 600 Costco's in the United States. So you got to think, if each one got 14, I think I calculated that was around 8,500. And so if, I don't remember the exact number, but I want to say it was around 8,500. You got to figure that means each one probably got closer to 25 of them. That's a lot for every Costco in this country to move. So clearly some moved a lot more than others, but it's still huge numbers. And we know Michael B's confirmed a few times that Costco is really happy with the sale through on those. And while they discounted some, the vast majority sold for what they were asking. So, why would they jump on a golden TXL when that's been out in the marketplace for a long time? That rumor seems suspect to me. I mean, it's, I trust that Michael B got it from a reliable source, and maybe that's what we will get. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me that that's the case. And when all the golden TXLs disappeared like a week ago, I thought, well, maybe there is something to this. Or maybe Arcade1up just pulled them all from and told retailers to stop selling them because the Golden T Deluxe is coming out. But then NFM got them back in stock. So it didn't take a week for NFM to be restocked and selling Golden TXL again. So they're still out there. So that makes you wonder, why would they, are they really going to put another one out when stores still have supplies of this thing or still being restocked from Kokum? I don't know. I can't see that happening, but it's certainly a possibility. Zero Redux says also means Costco is key. 100%. That is right now probably one of their biggest retailers. I think you can't ignore Best Buy. Obviously, Amazon moves a ton of cabs for them. Walmart, carries a lot of the Walmarts carry the peasant cades as they're derogatorily known, the traditional, low cost K, 3/4 scale. But for one store to sell one title and to move 13,000 of them, and then on top of that, they've done, obviously, they moved the Star Wars pinball, which quite frankly is probably way overpriced for what it is. They still sold them to pick up another Pac-Man and sell through all those Pac-Man partycades. Those have been moving at a strong clip. I mean, Costco seems to be having strong success. and have a formula down with Arcade1up that is, seems to be working for them. So as long as they don't go nuts like Sam's Club did and overpack, over order everything to where they have to blow them out at discounted rates, like unbelievably discounted rates, I think Costco could be a long-term partner. And I think Costco's smart enough from the appearance not to go crazy on it. They're keeping different SKUs when they get them. I think when they get the full-size cabinets, they will. That's the only reason they want one, is they only plan on doing the order once a year around Christmas time, when they know they can move those as big ticket Christmas gifts. I think that's a good avenue for getting us our XLs that we want, provided we continue to see strong sales there. And obviously they know they could probably move a lot more Golden Tees than they can even Pac-Man, but I would venture to guess they probably also would have wanted to jump in on the Masters and the springtime sales to move a Golden Tee, but maybe they still feel Christmas time is a better option, even though there's not a lot of golf being played around that time. Zero Ridiculous. I wish we knew the sales numbers for Time Crisis. We know where we stand with niche titles. Yeah, so that you bring up a good point, right? The unique thing about Shop Hippo, and it's a double-edged sword. I met up with PD7 today at the Midwest Gaming Classic, and we talked about this a little bit while we were visiting. The thing with Shop Hippo and Time Crisis specifically is we would not have Time Crisis if it wasn't for Shop Hippo. Shop Hippo is the only source for Time Crisis, and as a result, it's a little higher priced, and we really aren't, I don't think, ever going to see big discounts. We may see $50 off, $100 off, but I don't think you're going to see blowout sales on that. They ordered that because the owner won it. We've all heard that rumor numerous times. It was a niche title for him. So how many did they produce? I bet it's the bare minimum. I bet they produced 3,000, not a single one over that. And Shop Hippo did it knowing that they were exclusive retailer for that cab and they can just sit on it. So Zero Redux, you said it's on Walmart. On Walmart, is it sold by Walmart or just sold by somebody else? Because Shop Hippo, I believe, also lists their inventory on other sites under a different name. I don't, so I'd be curious. I think Spree, whatever it's called, Spreetail or whatever, they also sell on Walmart. There's a lot of companies that sell on Walmart because it's just a marketplace like Amazon. So I'd be interested in seeing that. Sold by Spreetail. Yeah, so that's what I thought, because I believe there's a relationship with Spreetail and Shop Hippo. I think they're owned by the same people, that they're actually together. I probably need to confirm that, but I think I've heard that multiple times, that Spreetail and Shop Hippo are actually connected. And then says, I bought my Time Crisis from Walmart. So that's interesting. So I'll have to check that out, because last I knew, and hey, look who snuck in the back door. There he is.
What's going on, everybody?
Nice sound effects.
Yo, let's go. That's what we need.
Now
we need the let's go
off, so I got to figure out how to get my audio on here.
All right, no worries. Let's see what let's see. We're in a foreign program that I'm not used to.
So Danny, you'll just have to do sign language until I can figure out some audio.
Can the chat, can you hear me?
Hey, are you talking?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Let me jump out and I'll fix the audio. You can entertain the crowds.
Copy that. All right, guys. Guys, you can hear me. Welcome back to the Cornercade. Everybody, what is going on? Jay Cuts, let's go. I love it, guys. So it's so weird. Like I got a James Hates Everything logo right in the corner here. This is great. Yeah, literally just finishing dinner, guys. A little taco salad / nacho action, guys. And yeah, that's right, Jason. Let's go, guys. We got some arcade. What news and notes here. Had to jump on with my boy James Hates Everything here, and we're gonna talk about it and have some fun here. So we got to back the bus up, guys. When James gets back, we got to back the bus up, and we got to see what's going on. So we got some a timeline here, and we're gonna try to, I guess, compare that to our list, our Deluxe 2024 list for Arcade1up. So it looks like we're following the trend of what we're gonna piggyback off of, we'll release an NBA Jam, NBA Finals cab and stuff like that. So let me know, guys. Let me know. Stock Jock, I love you, my guy. Let's go. Yeah, it's a Florida Gators hoodie. Let's go. He's back, baby. Don't worry, I kept everybody entertained. Stock Jock doesn't like my hoodie, but that's okay. I got this for $40. It's a champion hoodie, so that's what we're rocking here, man. Don't worry, I got other ones too. I got Colorado coming tomorrow. So
yeah, little Tim Tebow action out in with the Florida Gators.
I like that. Yeah, exactly. It was a cool color. I have no affiliation to Florida whatsoever. So.
I'm good, right, man. Guys, missed you. We missed you at Midwest Gaming Classic.
Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. So let me just tell you a little bit of a behind the scenes story here. So this originally started. Travis reached out to my wife and I and said, would you guys be down to going to this event? It gives us a chance to meet up in person, go grab some pizza. He can come to the cornercade. It was just kind of like an us three thing that evolved then into a Discord chat with a bunch of other people. Then we got like OTG. He wanted to come. Bunch of people wanted to come. Well, shit happens. Life happens. I mean, for Travis to come out just one way, it's about $1,000 for a ticket. And not saying that he can't afford that or anything, but it kind of just fell apart. And he was like, dude, I'm not going to spend, a couple grand here if this isn't going to be serious at the end of the day. So, we were down to go. We're 10 minutes from you, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
And then I looked at it and like PD7 was telling me about parking. It would be $150 for me and my wife just to get into the door. Not to mention we had to take care of the kids for a sitter. Yeah. It just became too much. And I was like, if everybody's dropping out, I know you, Quarter Deck Arcade and PD7 went there. I looked at it and I'm hardcore about the games, man. I looked at it. It looks fun. I'm not trying to take anybody shine away for sure. But for us to go, I'm just going to take the family to a real arcade, and it was for $40 and we got the damn thing done.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to ask you about that because I know you mentioned that Friday that you were going to go to Garcade instead, right?
Yeah.
And so Garcade is here and they have They have a whole room full of like retro games down there. Like, so
that's dope.
They probably have 20 or 30 games that they brought with them. Yeah. And it's funny because they're in a separate room from the main arcade. So I don't even know if a lot of people didn't even know about it. And by the way, we ran into Thumper Squid was here too. He came down for it.
Yeah. So awesome.
Good to meet him.
Hit a one in the chat if you guys went to the Midwest Gaming Classic, at least day 2, I would assume, or just day 1, because Friday was
so technically day 1. Friday was a preview night if you had bought the 3-day ticket, which was really cool because we got to go into where the all the pinballs and all that stuff were and got free reign in there. I mean, man, there was hundreds of games in there. And so you got to play everything with a small crowd, and it was awesome.
I assume that every like arcade, like just a arcade, for example, has like a storage facility that they either, rotate games in and out. Where because we went there and there was a couple of new games and they kind of shuffled things over, which is kind of cool. And then like when a game breaks, they send it to there.
Oh yeah,
it gets fixed, and then a new one comes in, so you don't lose money at the end of the day.
Yeah, so one of the companies that was there is Arcade Supernova, and they're from Kansas City. So they run a place called Draftcade up on the north side of Kansas City. And this is the first time they've done a show outside of Kansas City. So I was kind of surprised to see them there. And it's funny because they're advertising Draftcade as if people are going to drive up to go to this small, arcade bar in Kansas City. But I guess if you're going to be there, you will. But they brought a bunch of cool stuff. They were told just bring rare stuff. So they pulled arcade games I guarantee you'll never see anywhere else. And so I got a bunch of that. They had like a life-size Papa Smurf. I mean, the thing was giant, giant that they brought. They had vintage Showbiz signs, all made. They were all wood. They were all original. So it was funny because I remember P-Dubs having a guy on that makes Showbiz signs, and he had him in wood and switched over to metal. Well, the original stuff was all wood, so it was like, hey, you should go back to making the wood ones. They'll be more authentic or whatever, but probably a lot more expensive and difficult to make out of wood. But
yeah, like I said, it was kind of disappointing at the end of the day because like we wanted to go, but shit happens.
Oh yeah.
Like,
so yeah, I was totally surprised with how much arcade stuff was there, because I knew there were some pinball things, but man, you've got the pre-releases of that Princess Bride table. You had Ninja Clips. Man, there were so many that were like had just come out, like all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Wile E. Coyote or Looney Tunes or whatever it was. It is amazing. Like all the big people were there. You had that Godzilla VR. So you had Raw Thrills there. You had Stern there. You had American Pinball, Spooky, Turner Pinball. Like you name it, they were all there, and they brought everything with them. It was crazy.
I know a lot of people are going to attempt to go to that pinball expo in Chicago. So we may make a trip there because I know there's a lot of people that want to go to that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I won't be bored at it either because I kind of enjoy pinball, but arcade first, pinball second.
So I heard that thing's like 5 days.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah. And so because we were talking to I think the immortal John Hancock's going to go out for that, and he's going to do like 2 of the 5 days or something. But definitely I'm interested in doing that if we end up getting everybody going. Personally, like just pinball isn't enough for me to go out there, but this show, you're lucky, to be honest, or Milwaukee's lucky, because this is like probably the premier retro gaming convention. Like it is insane. Like the only other one that I think people kind of feel is up there would be like the Game On in Phoenix or Too Many Games. But this thing was huge. I mean, cool. 200 dealers, I was blown away at how big this thing was. And it had a good crowd, but not so busy that you couldn't like move or do anything. So
that was the one thing I was worried about too. It's like, dude, we're gonna spend at least $150 just to get in between parking and tickets, and then obviously want to get food and drink down there, kind of thing. So it's like, on a Saturday, it's like, fuck it, we'll suck it up and we'll do it. But like, I was just like, are we gonna really get to enjoy our money's worth, kind of thing? So it happens. Like I said, we'll try to make the pinball expo, see what happens. Like my kids right now, my daughter actually is like, she can behave. We'll take her. She's fine. My son is in the prime of being terrible too. It is very frustrating. So even when we went to the arcade, spent $40, he lasted about an hour and he went out to the car himself and tried to open the door. I'm like, kid, you cannot he gets like big mad. Yeah, he is like, nope, we're going and that's it. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Like there's so many games I wanted to play. Like, Mrs. Cornercade doesn't get a chance to see these games. There's so much to cover.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you have fun at the end of the day. Long and short, we got to back the bus up here because you're going off. So I when we first caught wind of that Golden Tee rumor, I said, okay, could they be releasing this with the Masters that's coming up? And I know there might not be a lot of golf fans in here, and I'm not a golf fan, but I think it was on the 13th through the 14th or something like that. And it looks like that's what's about to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it is the big event for golf, right? Golf kicks off their annual season with the Masters. So if you're a golf person, this is the Super Bowl time of golf. So there is no better time to release this thing. And now with multiple retailers putting this thing out, it is at least going to go up for pre-order during the Masters or right before it. It has to. It's just too coincidental, right?
Yeah, and I want to get I want to get some clarification here just for the chat. Spread the word, guys. There is Nebraska Furniture Mart that
Yep.
also sells this, but I want to just preference this, at least from my experience. You're going to be paying more than you would for Wayfair. So just understand that it's $4.99, but it's $139 to ship it. So
yeah, that's because so the thing is, for people like that want to order that thing online from Nebraska Furniture Mart, unless you live near Nebraska Furniture Mart,
yeah, exactly.
I would not recommend you do it because they ship it themselves, which means they're going to put it on a truck, their own truck, and they're going to drive it to you if you're in the delivery zone.
And
you're
they also,
pay.
they also offered assembly too. So it was like a
Yep.
white glove treatment. So unfortunately, it is what it is. I would wait for Wayfair unless you absolutely need this thing in your hands. Wait for a sale. Yep. Also, guys, you guys, anybody that's getting a cab off of Wayfair should make a new email every single time because you get a 10% off your first purchase. I do that every single time. So we got the Corner Arcade 1, 2, 3, all the way to 23 kind of thing. So do that because, it'll take away the taxes at least and it'll save you an extra $20. So I think, for Golden Tee, it would save you $60. So do that. That's my advice to everybody that wants the Golden Tee. I want it. I made some room here. We just got the Simpsons. Look, we got a new layout in the back, guys. We got X-Men in the background. Look at that.
Nice.
Now it's a little shorter, but that's okay. It's okay. We're working on the Simpsons project cab next. I don't want to get too off. So where's that picture of the you had the timeline going here? Let's get that going.
Bring it back up.
So you were talking about track and field. Do you think that's going to happen?
So I think if they stick with what they've been doing, right? If they stick with this, we're releasing it with stuff. If we're ever going to get track and field, this is the time. And I think the leak is interesting on the stool. It's weird to say a stool is evidence. So again, I would say this is probably on the likelihood on the low end. I think the only thing that pumps it up is the Olympics. But the fact that the stool went up for sale, not by some random person, but by Walmart themselves, it could just be somebody fat fingered something, but that's a big fat finger to go back like 2 or 3 years to dig that product up. I think it likely could be they're reloading their system because they're getting ready for this thing. Now, again, I think it's on the low likelihood, but if not now, we're never going to get it from Arcade1up ever. Because
is anybody
Olympics and that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, and I like your theory here with coinciding with events that's happening because it's kind of like the trend so far that's happening. Chat, help us out here. What other games would go on this track and field? I know I've kind of asked this before. I mean, is that something that James, we both have a ton of 1-ups. I'm out on that one. I don't. That's not anything for me. What about you? At the end of the day, what would you?
So I love track and field. I've always liked it. I was a little kid when that thing was popular, so it's not like I played it a ton, but I loved it. And it's something anybody can play because it's really a rhythm game. Pounding the buttons. So will Arcade1up need to put better buttons in? Probably, or you might trash the thing. But buttons are pretty cheap in the grand scheme of things. But I think there's 2 titles straight out. You got Track and Field and Track and Field 2. They also have I think they have the Winter Games is one they could throw on there, and there's one other that are all in that kind of same time frame and that play on the same control scheme. So hopefully they wouldn't ruin it by putting in a joystick and other things and just keep it the traditional track and field like their prototype was. It may not have a ton of games. It may be one of these things that only has 3 or 4 games on it, like some of the other ones. But if they can get it at a price point that will move it, I think that'll work. We also know it's not going to have the right artwork, right? So will we get some kind of Olympic style art? Maybe. That might hurt it if they do. They're certainly not going to pay for the Olympics. That license costs too much, but they may definitely draw some inspiration from that.
What do those other games play like Track and Field does?
They're all basically the same, right? So they all
a
2-button thing where you 2 or 3. There's usually the 2 left and right run, and then like an action button to jump or throw or whatever.
Okay.
And so they all play very similar to that. I think the positive thing about it, with the way Arcade1up does stuff with the high scores, usually the high score is like a lot of these games, that's the only thing that's online. In track and field, that makes way sense, because now you have a true world record. Everybody that has it can be going for the world record. Now, I think the secret there is that you can only get so good in some of these, that they have a best time already. So people will hit that and then you'll just have leaderboards of everybody at the same time. But
yeah.
But it would be interesting to see how many people can actually hit that level without cheating or something. But
yeah, that's it just, I don't know. Space now is a thing for me. So
yeah,
I got to kind of be picky and choosy just a little bit.
yeah.
I would almost like to, and I had a discussion with my wife here. So just following your timeline, let's start with X-Men 97. Kind of like, hey, should we upgrade? You get the speaker grill covers. You'll take the plastic deck protector off, which that's kind of the theme that we got going on here with now 5 of our cabinets. You'll get that riserless design. I could swap the marquee out, put an MVC2 marquee in there, or put anything. Put like Children of the Atom Coda or something in there. And you're not going to see the sides because it's smashed together. I'll flip the kick plate around and we'll call it a day. I was kind of thinking that, if we sell mine, it could break even.
Yep.
So I was really
and the truth is,
the
one they released doesn't have the right art on it anyway. So you
it
got
doesn't,
the
but
right
I like
marquee. You got the right marquee and the wrong deck. Even the deck art is wrong and the side art is wrong. So switching it to the X-Men 97, at least you get the right deck. And then
100%,
you use your marquee and give the other person your X-Men 97 marquee or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, you could put it up
or you
for
go
sale.
buy a Sabo's marquee or something, because his is better.
It's funny what sells on Marketplace. So we, people, I think someone made a comment, laughed at me. I sold the Simpsons coin doors. So a guy bought them for $40. I just sold the riser to X-Men right now, $40. I sold the control panel, that 4-player control panel, and some random buttons for $50. Like, this stuff sells. I put the old Blitz marquee up for sale for like $20. Maybe someone just wants to buy it and put it up in their game room.
I'd hang that up on the wall.
Exactly. So I never, like, from all the parts in the gathering and everything, I try to scrape it up together to try to have that cost make sense when we go ahead and do that. We got a comment here from Jason. Go ahead.
Well, he's just saying that track and field would be a risky release. And I think what he's going at for there, track and field was huge when it came out, right? It was very popular. And based on the type of game it is a button masher. So people would beat the hell out of that. And it was broken 90% of the time, right? Arcade owners constantly had to replace buttons. People mash that thing to death. And so you run the risk of Arcade1up having people just destroy their cabs and constantly trying to return them. I would argue that most people probably aren't going to be playing their home arcade at the rate that they did back in the day at arcades. So I think, while I think it could be problematic for some diehards that'll really play the hell out of it, I think most people are going to be casual with it, play it several times, come back to it occasionally, and it's just not going to take the kind of beating they did in an arcade.
Yeah, that was one of my theories that, it got denied initially, but they already spent like the R&D to do all the digging and all that stuff. So I thought maybe now they take it back to the wheel well, and they come out with this thing in a deluxe form factor. So they had to change like pretty much everything on it. And then maybe they, are doing something with the buttons. So for you guys that are like about the buttons, like myself, if anyone here has played the Casino-cade, those are damn near real, like casino buttons. Yeah, 100%. Like, they actually got that right on the worst fucking cabinet. Like, it's like, come on, guys. Like, you can't.
Well, they only put a 10-inch screen on it.
They can't get this for Killer Instinct or something, or a fighting game, but they did it for the damn Casino-cade. So maybe they went to the wheel well, like got better buttons or something. This is just a theory. This is just a tin hat theory.
Yeah.
And then maybe they reinforced that control panel, because of the tapping or whatever, like they did with the Dynamo cab behind me with that front plate thing.
Yeah.
So maybe there was just like, we shopped it around, didn't go through. We redid it, gave it a sexier body style, kind of like what you see in this mini 3/4 scale Golden Tee now. And maybe it took some time. Maybe it took a year and a half. Because think about it, when Time Crisis got leaked, guys, it was damn near a year and a half to 2 years before it came out.
2 years from when
Yeah.
GameFly
And I
leaked
think they might have gone back to the wheel well and kind of worked out some kinks, with the kick plate and some stuff like that. And they put a coin door on it. So even something that's a minor change like that, and this would be like a total redo of what
and when you have no sticks, right? They don't have to put 2 big sticks in there, which are probably the bulk of the expense. So you're talking about 6 buttons other than 1 player, 2 player with, 6 switches. The cost to upgrade the buttons isn't going to be all that, and what if they, knowing Arcade1up, right? They'll put lighted buttons in there, and those lighted buttons are a better quality than their standard button by far.
Which is sad.
It's
really sad.
I think they're ugly. I hate when they put the lighted buttons on, but they are better buttons. And so they could put those buttons on, light them up red, white, and blue or whatever for the Olympics. And
that would kind of look kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like I know it's the light up button thing is very gimmicky. I know on like NBA Jam, I'm good with that. On Galaga, kind of looks cool, and my wife made a reference. My wife is she's like a hardcore casual. We were both literally hardcore casual because I got her modding in the background, but she comes out to this and she's like, I kind of like it. It looks like it feels like I'm in a spaceship, when you're playing Galaga. And she's like, it's kind of dope. Like, and now she was like, I wouldn't put that on every cab because like a perfect example is like NBA Jam, which is kind of like unnecessary. But yeah, I don't know, it could be cool. So, yeah, so that was our thoughts on like X-Men. I mean, were you gonna get it at all, or because you already
the X-Men 97? Yeah, I'm not touching it. I like my MVC2. The way I did my risered ones is I altered them with Deluxes, so it actually looks fine, right? And it keeps about a 1-inch gap between the calves, and it flows because they're all not like bunched up, and there's just one weird one here and one not. It just looks normal. And so I'm, unless there's a compelling reason, I'll probably upgrade my MK2 to the Deluxe one at some point, probably on the next sale, because that cab I have in my office, and so I'll just buy another one and I'll leave that one there. Get the Deluxe one at home. But the next cab I buy, unless they come out, I'm probably gonna bite on Golden Tee Deluxe. Simply because I can get it in NFM. I can just drive by and pick it up. The thing with NFM is they never do sales. So they'll show it on sale and it'll be like 2 cents off the retail price and they'll claim it's on sale. But what they do for those, and I like doo-doo apparently, what they do that is interesting, for people that like to charge these things, they do no interest credit all the time. So you go in one of their special weekends and pick it up, you can pay for the thing for like 3 years. And so
3 years, like,
yeah, but, so it's costing you like 10 or 15 bucks a month, and,
that's
and
hilarious.
So that's how they move them, right? They can sell those bigger ticket things because they're selling them to people on no interest loans. Because it's owned by Berkshire Hathaway. They just fund it themselves. And so they'll do those no interest things like every weekend. Sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's 2 years, sometimes it's 3 years. And so they get away with not having sales as a result of that. Even though they say they have sales, they don't really have sales. So if it's in the area, if it's in your area, sometimes it's not such a bad deal. But like you said, you work the Wayfair thing, you wait for Wayfair to put it on sale, you use the 10% off coupon, you're going to get free shipping. Yeah, you're going to come in way under what you can get it anywhere else.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Because Wayfair kind of leaked it, but a company like Best Buy will not make that mistake ever. They are on top of their shit. So I'd be curious to see if a company like Walmart or Best Buy would also pick up the Golden Tee Deluxe, or this is going to be, mainly at Wayfair.
I
And,
think you're going to
these
see it at
new
Best
places.
Buy. I think it's too popular of a cab. I think you'll see it all over.
If it's at Best Buy, your boy's going all in. I was gonna get it anyways, but come on now, like kind of, gotta use my discount while I can.
Oh yeah. So I had to highlight this. I don't know if Kevin Clausen is being sarcastic here or if he's channeling John D, because that's what John D called me the other day.
James knows everything. I love it.
No, he just hates it all. But
okay, so you're in on Golden Tee, out on X-Men. I'm gonna look at this time frame here. Are we going from bottom to top?
It's alternating, yeah. So next up would be the July, right? That's the Olympics, that's Evo, all in there.
Oh, dude, so I loved your theory. I was sitting here, I was doing dishes, and we're closing up the house. And I'm sorry I hopped on late, kind of thing, but
no worries.
we were getting it shut down. We're getting the kids to bed, and I was listening to this. I'm like, yes, if Third Strike is gonna be at Evo. If Arcade1up does not come with this, and this is where, like, if John D was still at the company, this would be a slam dunk. I would already have the deposit down. But with Cyrus, I feel like sometimes the ball's handed off, and there's a fumble on the play, and then there's a scramble for the ball. Like, that's just how I feel sometimes. Like, I like, to us, this is a no-brainer. To every single person in this chat right now, this is an absolute slam dunk no-brainer. But to Cyrus, it might not be that. But I will say that this is a marketing opportunity.
Right.
And that man loves his marketing. His name is Cyrus Marketing, and whatever his last name is,
Rosenberg.
Yeah, Rosenberg.
Yeah. So he is, like I said, Evo's a big event for them. And it probably was because of John D, right? But that HS5 was a home run for Arcade1up. That's probably one of the most authentic cabs they've ever released. It's the right design. It just feels better to play Street Fighter on that thing than it does any other Street Fighter they've ever released, even though it's the exact same PCB. The feeling you get at that is like when you were back there at 7-Eleven playing for real. Right?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I always, after I played that, I literally stated playing the right games on the right form factor.
Yeah.
That's why, like, to me, like, MVC2 just didn't feel right. Like, it was there. I love it and I enjoy it. And it's one of my most favorite cabs, but it just, there's a little something off. Even like the Golden Tee here, just looking at the Golden Tee, like, that's a correct, authentic cab. Playing Time Crisis on the cab is awesome. I was playing it today. Like, it just hits that nostalgia point. That's what we're all here for. If we all wanted a multi-cade, we would have got to Games, and none of us would be talking about this.
Oh, yeah. You could get a Games Raspberry Pi and go buy an arcade stick, and there's a million ways to just play the game on any old screen, right? It's all about having the replica of the arcade at an affordable rate that's easy to move around your house, right? We've talked about that before. It's great to own the real things, but by God, Fox is gonna have a broken back at some point. Those things weigh a ton, and shoving those things around, like,
they're not for home use. Like, it's just not.
So I've had them before. Like, when in my much younger days, I had real arcade games in the house. It's funny because me and a roommate lived together. We rented a townhouse, and in our living room, we had a couch, a TV, and like 5 arcade games.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And it was always a pain in the ass to haul the things around, to move them. They're great.
And there's a lot more, guys.
There's fun, but there's so
maintenance.
Heavy.
There's maintenance on top of that, guys. I want to just preference this real quick. If one of these 1-ups goes down, right? I literally message Arcade1up, and they either A, send me the part for free, which they've been really diligent about doing that, even on cabs that have been out of policy. It's not like they know me from the corner cake kind of thing, or because it's on my wife's email kind of thing. So it's either they send you the part for free, or you can buy the part literally like for $50 or whatever. You're not getting those. Like, it's a different ball game, and we don't gotta go down there. You should highlight Zero Redux's comment here. It says, damn, at the cornercade, you had the first interview with Cyrus this year, and he just disappeared after that. Yeah, he did. he said he wanted to work with me going forward. Loved what me and my wife brought to the channel, and like much like Arcade One Up,
Yeah.
they make promises and then they're gone. You know, they don't
So I
even.
think there's a couple things, right? I think there was a cone of silence after the layoffs that they kind of they continued to be involved because they had arranged a lot of things through the last year. But as the big transition happened into this year, they decided to take a back seat. I think you also had, quite frankly, you had the big blow up in this community that was, drove console kits out, created a bunch of controversy for several weeks. And they probably, even if they wanted to come back at that time, were like, we ain't touching this community with a 10-foot pole because it's too toxic right now.
Mm.
So you have this thing, and we keep hearing this rumor that in June they're going to come back, right? That something's going to happen in June. And I think that's a strong possibility. And I think when you're silent for this long, if you're going to start re-engaging in June, you've got to hit it out of the park when you do that, right? And so, what kind of announcements could they make in June? And as you look forward into July with Evo and with the Olympics, here's 2 new titles they could be announcing in June that are truly new games. And
Yeah.
so they've been quiet other than Fast and Furious, in 2023. Now you suddenly got 2 hot new titles coming out of the gate. That would be a huge invigoration of the community and get people hyped again. You're still always going to have the same thing where some people think it's too expensive, or, I don't like that one or this one, but we'll have truly something new that will get people fired up and interested and get a lot more engagement on, which is what they have to be focused on.
Yeah. 100%. Like, like B always said, he said sales, new product, and special events is what's going to get this community ramped up, ready to go. And if Arcade1up ever decided to work with me, I would bring all 3 of those consistently every single month. I damn guarantee that. Like, come on now, how can you not? Like, you got to ride the bus, ride it. Like, what are you people doing? Okay, so I already know you're getting Third Strike. I'm not even going to ask you because I know you're already getting it because I'm getting it, and you're definitely 100%.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't hesitate.
Yeah.
She Lion put hers out there, that custom. She's got it running on the same PCB. It looks great. I'd buy it, without a second thought. Yeah, and
100%.
it's going to be HS5. That cab is too popular.
Yeah, like they already have the cab
a new
built.
title in it. Yeah,
exactly. Like you got to come out with some stuff in it. You can't just do this for the one release. It just all signs point to this.
Yeah.
And guys, I got to be honest with you. If Third Strike were to come out, I may put my MVSX up for sale with a Hilo hack. I know it's a big, like, what are you talking about? It's a multi-game. But I literally go to the MVSX just to play Third Strike.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I have to take that back a little bit because there is SNK versus Capcom. That's really, I don't want to.
Yeah, I would love to see that, which you're never going to see that.
I do have I can touch it right here. I have my Shinku Hadouken, so that'll definitely be up for sale.
You got to wonder if John D was pushing hard on getting that Neo Geo license to do his own MVSX, like was rumored. It had to be because he wanted to do Capcom versus SNK.
That would be dope.
That would have been awesome, but I don't think we're ever going to see that.
Well, I got it at the corner arcade, so at least I got that. Anybody can have it. If you get the Hilo hack, it's very easy.
Yeah,
very easy. So
I just don't like the design of the cab. Like, I'm a huge Neo Geo fan. I've collected Neo Geo from when it, I found it on clearance when it had come out at a place called Comp USA, and if anybody's familiar with that, it was like the Best Buy of computers. That's all they sold was computer stuff. And I don't remember how old I was, but I went there after Christmas and they had a big clearance bin and they had the Neo Geo Gold system brand new in clearance for like $200. That thing was $600 at the time, brand new. It was insanely expensive, and every game retailed $200+. And so it was like, I was not going to afford that, but at $200 I could swing that And then I used to go to a pawn shop on the other side of Kansas City, and they actually had the games there. So I was able to pick up a handful of games at like $80 a piece as opposed to 200. Now those things go, it's $1,000 for a Neo Geo, and then all the games are, some of the decent games are all 1,000 plus, and the junk ones are like 500. So it's insane how expensive that is. But you can play every single one of them on that MVSX. The cab just doesn't look right. It's too narrow. Like the deck doesn't come out over the base, right?
Yeah, it was a bar top first, and then I think they said, "Hey, we could put this on a stand, like a 3/4 scale. So let's do that. Oh, we can also like put a riser on it because this other company's doing a riser. So let's do it. It's bar top first, because if you actually take it off and just put it on the bar top, it's great.
Yeah,
or like whatever, like a tabletop or whatever.
Actually on your bar.
Yeah, and then you start putting it together. It's like, oh, it's kind of like weird. Now I got used to it. I love it, play it just because it's a huge multi-game. But yeah, I would 100% love the Hilo hack to be like in the Shinku Hadouken, for example. Yeah. It's a way better form factor.
I'm still holding out hope that they do an MVSX2 and Unico does it right this time, and just stick to make a replica. That's all people want. Make a replica.
That'd be cool. That could be definitely cool. Okay, so I think we're buying what, 2 out of the 3 so far. And then we move over to track and field. You're all in on that. I'm kind of not in on that.
It's fair. It's definitely an older person's cab, right? Because it's like the Atari stuff, in my opinion. Most of those games are pretty bland on the Atari 50th and Atari cabs. There are a few that are really fun, but most of them are pretty bland and basic because they're all from the very late 70s, early 80s. They're fun, don't get me wrong. They're just not as dynamic. And track and field is one of those. There's 5 events. It's very basic, but it's still like, if you grew up with it at the time, it was a blast.
Yeah, anything you have nostalgia for, it's like a must buy. I would say if it like went on a good sale, I think I could look at it, but that's not like a day one buy for me.
Yeah.
Unless my wife really wanted it for some reason. I don't know. You never know sometimes.
Do they have one at the Arcade?
Yes, they do. Yep.
Yeah. You guys play it at all?
I played it. It's confusing to me. So I'm pressing left, right, and then I go get to the jump and nothing happens. Am I supposed to hit another button?
If you're too late, if you jump past the line, you'll get a fault.
I hate that timing stuff. That's why I got That's why I got rid of Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer was pissing me off. Like every time I would just smash against the wall, and I'm like, oh my god. Like
so I don't plug Rexer often, but I'll plug him again because I think the best video on his channel is his track and field how-to video. It's old. It's several years ago. I know he's had like some videos about updating his track and field, but his how-to video, he gives you the tips and tricks to look out for in the background and what angles, and he demystifies like how to do a lot of those things. So if you're a newbie at track and field, I definitely recommend checking it out. He does a good job of breaking it down.
I'll take a look at it.
Going through that. If he did more content like that and less the other stuff, like I'd be a big fan of his, but I can't listen to all the negative stuff all the time.
It's funny because like I don't know if I'm gonna word this right because it's all about the games for me. But I'm literally like one of the most positive guys. And I've been told this numerous times, off camera, on camera. And I don't let anyone ever get to me ever. Like if you guys listen, I only will pay attention to the people that support the Cornercade, period. So like if you, I don't feel like anybody really hates at all. Like, what can you hate? Me and my wife are just unboxing games and playing them. We're having fun. like what do you get? I don't know if you're a community member, but anybody in the chat that's a community member on our channel, I posted a picture of my son wearing a Pac-Man hat. Today we're going to do errands. Like, how can you hate on that? How can you? I mean, people will find a way, right? People will find a way. But bologna sauce.
Did you get a baby-cade for your kids?
Oh, absolutely not. My kids would look at that. My kids would look at that thing and push that thing over. They're like, we want the real stuff.
So I did. I bought it. So I have 2 little ones too. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old who's going to be 3 here in 2 weeks.
Hey, we got the same age as my guy.
Yeah, and he I bought them the baby Pac-Man, or the Pac-Man baby cave that has the Pac-Man and the Dig Dug and Galaga on it. And they actually like it. It sits in their playroom. The cool thing about it, which I think is missed by a lot of people, is you can turn off dying.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
yeah, so if you want to like legitimately play through like Pac-Man and set some kind of record score, you can do it
That's
on the
hilarious.
baby Caden,
I
and then
will say
snap a
this.
picture and people wouldn't even know.
Yeah, get close enough. I will
Yeah.
say, I will say this though. When like, so me and my wife are moving a bunch of arcades. You know, again, if you're channel member, we always post like a bunch of content just to get your 99 cents worth for the
Yeah.
month. But we're shifting around a bunch of stuff because we're getting ready for Golden Tee to come in. And we had to give some homes, and we sold Joust today. Breaking news, and I actually didn't post that. Sold Joust for $300, but I had to get rid of it because we're switching it for Golden Tee, and B, it's a duplicate, so I'm trying to get
Yeah.
rid of the duplicates in the arcade.
Yeah, you have a few of those, right? Because you also have the Shinko Hadouken or whatever, which
Yeah,
is
there's a
yeah,
few that I'm like, okay, and then I think once we get to that point, we'll be good. Like if Arcade1up would come out with a cool racer, I could see myself parting with one of my Fast and Furiouses because we have two,
yeah,
so that way still double dip the chip and have fun. But it is fun racing against each other. But I will say this, because we were taking some cabs off risers to kind of move them, we put all of our like cable management in a riser. So we can push. This is what I'm talking about. Every inch matters, guys. So we can push the cabs closer to the wall because like the power strip brick is like a couple inches, so if we can put that in a riser, we'll be good. Push it closer to the
yeah.
wall, give bigger rows. And so
You
when
could
I did
leave
that,
your back panels off too and just set the thing on the inside.
yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I do
because
like that.
nobody
That's a good
sees it
idea.
anyway. Yeah,
That's a good idea.
I was thinking about that because both. Yeah, I remember Fox showed his like boneyard, right, in one of his closet where he has all those extra parts from all the cabs that he's been, um, customizing over the years. And then when you showed your Simpsons the other day, how you had the stuff piled in there, it's like, why don't more people just leaves the backs off and use it for storage from all the extra parts? Seems like
Yeah,
that's the perfect
exactly.
place. You can't see it; it's out of the way. I mean, you could even put the back on, and then you know all the stuff's back there. But
Yeah.
because I was
Wait,
thinking like moving things around in my game room, I'm like, I should get rid of this stuff. Well, where can I put it? I was like, wonder if I should just use the use
yeah.
the cabs as storage to hide some of the things I wanted to move.
Yeah, that's you're onto something there for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, long and short, we took it like like when I think MVC2 was off the riser, like my son immediately went to it because now it's at his height. He
Oh,
was like,
right.
"Oh, this is great! I don't have to have a chair. Like this is awesome." I'm
Yeah.
like, "But buddy, it's not plugged in." It's like the kids are they were like moving their cabs. They're so engaged with what we do. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, my
Um,
kids love that Fast and Furious. Like they play it more than anybody.
yeah,
And I got to say they were brilliant, the designers of that, in making it to where if you don't push the gas pedal it'll go by itself after a
after
minute.
5 seconds, yeah,
Yeah, and that it you basically can't really steer wrong. It'll put you right back.
it's like an
And so the kids
autopilot.
can
Yeah,
like feel like
yeah,
they're playing. I like it. That's a brilliant way to do it. Definitely
yeah. It's
makes
really
it
nice because then
accessible.
when my my son, whenever we go to the arcade, he goes right to the Fast and Furious, and I would like to assume that he's identified that as what we have at home. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
same kind of thing. So he goes there and he can't reach the pedals, and it's not automatically going for him. So I have to
Yeah.
reach over and play with him, and then I have to put the pedal to the metal, and then we're both racing. Um,
So
it's
that's
unfortunate.
interesting that the real one doesn't do that. So that's something
Yeah, it
they
just sits there.
added in
Yep, they added there. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes Arcade1up does some really cool things,
yeah.
every once in a while. But okay, so Big Blue AVP, you're getting that, or I know. That's a hard
I don't
pass for
know.
me.
I have zero nostalgia for that game. And I think the Big Blue is the ugliest cab they've ever made. Like I hate that thing. I think it's
Yeah,
garbage.
it needs like a riser out of the gate.
If they
But
did
I
it
don't know.
like the Big Blue 2 design, it looks a little better than the regular Big Blue to me, with the separating the marquee from the rest, and it's more square. But
Mhm.
I think the real Big Blue doesn't bother me as much, but the Arcade 1-Up version I just think looks like crap. I know it's really popular and it has a good games list, the real one does, but I think it looks so bad. I have zero interest in owning that.
Okay, so then we're both out on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that control panel is just so big. Like
they'd have to put something else on there that's really, because I like Alien and Predator as a franchise, but it'd have to have some other games on there that are really interesting to me. Otherwise, I don't really care.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So, okay, so moving down the list, you put in September here. We have Asteroids, and that's like, I put that on my list. That's kind of like a no-brainer.
Yeah,
since they already have.
Yeah, they already have the design. The
Yeah.
Atari 50th, quite frankly, is ugly. I hope they fix the deck, but I don't think they will. So you'll still lose your hand while you're trying to move the joystick. But
now, would there be a joystick on this?
Yeah, it'll be the exact same thing because you still have games that need the joystick. So it'll be the same PCB as the Atari 50th. There won't be anything different. It'll just have that skin.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
they do that all the time. That's all X-Men 97 is, the same PCB.
I wish they would have got this right, but if you saw my review on it, it's too short. It's a must sit down cabinet.
It is noticeably shorter than all the rest. It's weird, right? Like I don't like the Atari 50th look. The look is too disco-y. It's too like obscure for me.
I got to be honest with you.
It is small compared to all the other deluxes. It looks shrinky dinky.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it in person?
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I think it looks pretty cool with the light up buttons.
That's the only cab I ever regretted buying.
Same here.
I regretted it the second I assembled it. I was like, oh yeah, I don't like this at all. And so I have problems with mine. I think the cord isn't there's something wrong with the extension cord part that connects to the back. And so like every third time I play it, the screen doesn't come on. So like I haven't turned it on again in probably 3 or 4 months, but I plan on making a video on how to fix it if it does it again. But
well, James, if
annoying.
If it doesn't work, I will gladly swap the BOE for my Centipede monitor. You can have this stand monitor. I really wanted to do that and like sell it and like hopefully somebody would notice the difference. I didn't want to be that guy. Guys, I'm an honest person. My wife are honest people, but my wife sued past me like, she was like, you can swap these monitors. And I even like the control panels or something. Nobody would notice. And I'm like, I
quite frankly, I don't think that's necessarily a negative thing, right? Because you're still getting this the right monitor. It's just not got a good viewing angle. Because really, like your Centipede, I'm sure looks great when you're sitting right in front of it. So who are you?
It's okay. Yeah. The BOE is a big difference.
It's only off to the sides, right?
It's kind of because it's like I'm telling you, when you're playing like Centipede, for example, on that thing, the blacks are so deep and rich, and it's like wow, like I kind of miss the BOE there because you get used to playing like on the Centipede, and once you get used to it, it's like whatever. But then once I went back to the Atari 50 and like playing Crystal Castles or something, like the colors were so much more vibrant. You're like, God, it makes Centipede look terrible. It's like if you watch an OLED, something on an OLED TV, and you go back to just like a Roku 4K TV, you're like, God, this is awful. But if you're used to the 4K TV, you're like, oh, it's great. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. But once you make that switch to like OLED, it's too much. So
Hey, look who's in. Thumper Squid must have made it home.
Yeah, let's go.
This is great meeting Thumper Squid today out there. But yeah, I'm surprised about that on the screen because if the blacks aren't black, that does annoy me.
They're like it's like a grayish dark.
Yeah, it's that really you got to have at least decent contrast. Like I can get over the side angle thing because who cares? Like it's just for people who are watching other people play. But if the colors are muted, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't really have any that have that bad monitor. Or if I do, I don't notice. So
yeah.
The only ones I think that could possibly have it would be the some of the older ones I have, like the Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, but I'm pretty sure that one doesn't. I don't know what else I would have that would have that in there, because I haven't bought, the only XL I own is the Pac-Man, because I'm not going to buy a NBA Jam XL that has Shaq on it. I don't really care.
No, the Deluxe is way better.
Yeah.
Like there's so many.
I did see an interesting Blitz today that I had never seen before, and it was a Blitz NBA Showtime combo. And it doesn't look like it's a custom. It looked legit, like Midway had released that like that, or whoever, because it had the side art had this like the poster for Blitz, but it was had a nice transition into the game art for NBA Showtime, and the marquee was the exact same way. Looked kind of cool as a neat way to join the two games together.
Of course,
we'll never see it because that would be the world's most expensive licensing with both the NBA and NFL on it. But it might make a cool custom at some point if somebody wants to do it.
Yeah, sure. So Jose Bosmer, they could fire that up, real
especially if DMod or what is their Team Encoder released, get their hack out for that. That's going to let us play the real ROMs, so we can get all our players back that are missing and the late hits for the people that are obsessed with the late hits.
That's funny,
be a cool custom. Get back to an arcade accurate version. Though me being a big Broncos fan, I don't want to lose Terrell Davis off the side. That's like one of the main reasons I bought it. So
so I'm looking at the list here, and I'm like, okay, if this is what it is, I'm like, damn, that's kind of stinky. Like I got 2 titles that I'm kind of excited about. That's it. Now it's not. This is just what Arcade1up is doing now. It's not anything.
Yeah, if you follow with Cyrus's, like what appears to be Cyrus's MO, right? He wants to partner. He either wants it in a collab style, or he wants it to coincide with another marketing opportunity, so he can use the advertising, essentially use the advertising dollars of something else to hype up their own cab, to piggyback on all that marketing. These, all but the Golden TXL, every one of these would coincide with that marketing opportunity.
This is so dumb. A Golden TXL, like, good God, I don't even.
I know it would be a second one.
So dumb. Like,
but we know it'll sell. Like, it's all the people that have a man cave, right? That are more about having a traditional sports game room, not a video game room or an arcade. This is one like NBA Jam that just slides in, that would be a big seller for casuals. And so the home theater crowd, all that stuff, I think this is it is a no-brainer sale. Costco's not dumb requesting it. I think they're dumb asking Arcade1up to do it, because they're not going to get the Golden Tee titles that people actually want. But it'll still sell. I
think Costco's dumb when they said the Star Wars Atari had bad graphics.
Yeah,
that's just a rumor, but I just like, oh well. Rest in peace to anybody that wanted to build an arcade out of XL cabs, because you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, it's that old vector graphics, right? Worries them. And speaking of Star Wars, one of the things, I didn't get any video of it, or if I did, it was really short. I saw a Franken cab that like broke my heart. Somebody took a real Star Wars cab, removed the controls, or maybe they never even had the controls. Maybe somebody took them, and they installed a Logitech joystick on the cab itself. Everything else had been gutted, so there's no monitor, there's no marquee. And I was like, but you've got the bones here of one of the classic arcades that is worth a ton, and you mangled this thing.
Oh my God.
Somebody's up there trying to sell it. I think it was in the section that was all for custom arcades. And it's like, and I'm telling you, it's not a good Logitech joystick. It's the cheapy one that's like $20 that like tons of people have. It's like
my
gray with the gray
Yeah.
base with the black controller because it's like a $20 flight stick. It's like,
Yeah.
what on earth are you doing with
I
this?
People, man, people surprise me every day. So
Oh,
that's something else. Okay, so I like your theory with Tron Deluxe. That's depending on how well Tron sold and if they, want to produce more. Like, a lot of people said like, "Oh, Dragon Slayer Deluxe." No, that's not happening. That was like a fan made project that
yeah.
like went south, and they were just trying to dump those things like Blitz to the retailers. So that you will not see. And if
Yeah.
you do, I mean, shout outs to people who would love a Dragon Slayer Deluxe. That'd be dope for them. Mortal Kombat, I like your theory here with what you said earlier.
The
Releasing with
MK2
them.
and
Yeah. Because I mean, like, where else are they gonna go now? I got the best one behind
Yeah.
me. Now you could re-release this in a deluxe with the Chinese takeout, MK1. But then it's like, where do you go? Do you put Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 in again? Like
they
you
could
start to reach
rotate through the 1, 2, 3 and Ultimate, and honestly, I think there's just not as much nostalgia for number 3. I mean, people loved it and played it, but the look of it isn't like high up on the list, right? That MK2 is the one everybody kind of likes the look of.
Yeah, that's where
But they
like
can't go back to that. MK2 for MK2 the movie would have made a lot of sense.
yeah,
But now
that's
that
where
the
a lot
star
of
of that movie is going to be Johnny Cage, going backwards to MK1 makes more sense than jumping up to MK3 or whatever. But who knows?
yeah,
They
like
could do MK3.
I think an Ultimate, like if they re-released the one behind me in an Ultimate MK3 with that purple and stuff, that would be so
Yeah.
dope because they would get the marquee right finally. In the first go around, it was completely washed out. Like,
Yeah.
I think that would be really, really cool. But you start to reach a pinnacle here, like an iPhone, where it's like I'm not going to upgrade every year because it's not worth it. Like the Pac-Man
If they
Deluxe that
keep
they have
giving us
now,
the same PCB,
you got to do something different. You got to put
nuts.
more games on. You got to do like a reskin. Like the Galaga looked beautiful when they reskin that to the Pac-Man, but you got to do something else. Like you got to do like a Crystal Castles. You got to do something else. Like you got to get people excited, and you got to make it to where people want to, because most people, and I say most, not all, but most people that buy an Arcade1up are buying the atmosphere and the ambiance.
Yeah.
So if you were telling me I could get, Super Breakout cab, Crystal Castles cab, Major Havoc cab, like that way you get 14 cabs out of one cab here and just use the same PCB over and over, and then you could just sell them for $2.99 because you've already made your profit on that. Like that's where you need to start going back to the real world. Now I know you have to like do different form factors and it could cost some money. I don't know, but that people would want to buy said cabinet. You're telling me, chat, you wouldn't buy a beautifully done Crystal Castles cab? That would be dope. Like, so that's my only thought, because it's like, what else do you do? The Pac-Man Deluxe is like the pinnacle. That's it. Like, you made an XL too, so now you're tapped out with that. Like, now I could be wrong. They could come and surprise me in next year or whatever or something. But now I have November.
Well, they got to get you a Galaga Deluxe, right?
Well, I already got that here right now.
Or not Deluxe. I was thinking XL, right? Galaga
Okay,
XL.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, it's like you said, I mean, they could try to do what they did before with like Pac and Pal and Super Pac-Man. I just don't think that they'll do that again.
Baby Pac-Man.
Yeah. Well, actually, if they did a Baby Pac-Man, that would be exciting because that's half pinball, but they'll never do that either.
Yeah, I saw that they have one of the arcade. I was like, "What is this? Like, what is this monstrosity?"
I remember that from as a kid, like seeing it a couple times, but it is a weird one.
I want to just state this real quick, and I don't know if 2024 November here, that question mark is the Robotron Total Carnage Smash TV cab that Thumper Squid is hinting at here. But going to the arcade, they have all three of them right next to each other. Shit, I'd be down to get that. Like, I'd be down to get that. So I know, like, a lot of times, like, track and field, that's 80s vibe. Robotron, I was kind of having fun playing that. I got to be honest. Berserk, I was having fun playing that. But I was having fun playing it, and even like a Smash TV. I think Total Carnage is actually better than Smash TV, to be quite honest with you. But my thoughts. So
yeah, no. So honestly, I have zero nostalgia for Smash TV. I don't think I ever saw it in the arcade, or arcades were basically dead or dying when that came out. I know that's the one people want. I would probably still get it, but I would rather see the Robotron on there because that to me is a little more nostalgic. But honestly, anything new would be fine. I'd be interested from that
Yeah,
standpoint.
100%. That would pique my interest, and I'd be like, I would like research what is this game because I don't know
Yeah.
all the games, but Zero Redux. If you want to highlight this comment here, it says I was not an original Berserk fan. No, I actually never even heard of that. And then New Wave Toys kind of like hinted at coming out with this, and then I did some research on it, and I was like, that game would actually be kind of fun. And then I played it at the arcade, and I'm like, yeah, this game's pretty fun. Like for an 80s simplistic game, 100%. Like that's pretty cool. I enjoy it. So
yeah,
I
and
am
when I was a
always
kid,
open.
Berserk, I had Berserk as a board game when I was a kid,
That's
which was
insane.
yeah, it was a little plastic thing. It was pretty interesting. But yeah, so Berserk is one I've always been interested in. I would buy that in a second if that came out. The interesting thing that and Eugene Jarvis was at Midwest Gaming Classic.
And I know you had to ask him a question.
I wanted to.
100%. Yeah.
He had a panel.
You did it though.
He wasn't there as a guest. He was only there to speak at a panel. And so I had it on my schedule. I was going to go. And that's when I ran into PD7 and we were talking the whole time. When I looked down to see what time it was, I missed the damn thing.
Damn.
I was like,
PD7 is walking and talking, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go.
No, it was cool to meet him in person and just jawbone for a while. But that was the one thing I was like, dang it. Because it's like I looked to see if I could find him both before and after, and I think he only just showed up for that panel. Obviously, Raw Thrills was there. They were there to promote the Godzilla VR, which is insanely cool. It's a crazy game with the full motion and the VR helmet and stuff. I mean, it was a lot of fun, but it's a ticket. It's going to be at a modern arcade. You're never going to see that in your house.
Yeah, exactly. That's look at people. PD7 already put a video out on this. I bless PD7's heart. I absolutely love him. Ran into a couple of times. Always will have him on the show. But this man puts out the same walk-in talk, and you people love it. It'll get 3,000 views. Literally, guys, he talks about Target Circle. It's the same. Nothing's happening with Target Circle. Okay, people. Like it's so. I love that man to death. He will literally put the same walk-in talk out, and people are like, "Oh, we got to see it."
No, I'm still holding out. He promised something big with Target Circle here on the 14th or whatever.
I don't know. I think it's a paid membership, much like
yeah.
Best Buy.
So you still
you can actually get things same day. You can get it same day.
Yeah, you still have the free membership where you can rack up the 1% or cash back or whatever. But then if you pay, they'll same day deliver it. But it's like I think it's $50 for the first year during this special promotion, and then it's like $100 a year. It's the same thing with the Best Buy one, though. The Best Buy one's ridiculously expensive. Like, isn't it like $250 or something?
No, I mean, I don't want to sit here and talk about work when I'm not at work.
Yeah, I don't mean to make it about work.
No, the second Best Buy, Best Buy, I got to punch in, man. Then we'll talk all day kind of thing. No, but I'll just quick gesture so there is a $50 membership. I get you a 2-month return window. And it gets you a Best Buy member pricing. So you'll get you can save like we had on Black Friday a $1,700 LG gaming monitor. You save $750 off the monitor because you got it for $50. Yeah. Insane deals. That pays for the membership literally 17 times over.
So that's different than because the thing I was thinking of then was like when the PS5 came out, right? They had the thing where you could pay, it was like $250, and then you would get an opportunity to order it before other people.
Yeah, that's kind of like a bunch of baloney now. With that membership, you do get sale prices first. So like in the app, like James, if you had the membership and I didn't, let's say today you had the membership pricing deal on it. So whether it's a PS5, whatever, tomorrow I'll get just standard pricing and I'll get a chance to nab at it. Think of it like this, guys. You get to shop privately in the online store with just other members. That's it. So it's like VIP access. Now they have that membership. Then they have another membership, which the membership is kind of cool because you get buy two, get one free on Nintendo Switch games. There's a lot of just random stuff. The membership, guys,
that's a killer deal.
Yeah, anybody that shops at Best Buy, listen, I work for Best Buy. I love Best Buy. Great place. I'm telling you right now, the membership, if you have a Best Buy card or you shop at Best Buy at all, even one time a year, get the membership. It is 100% worth it. At least the $50 one, you will save hundreds. One of my friends saved $1,400 so far with the $50 membership. It's insane. So that's just that membership. Then there's a $180 membership that's going to warranty everything out. So you get a fridge, a stove, a TV, it includes Apple Care. So if you get an iPad, it's all warranted. You're not buying separate protection plans for everything. You want to do anything in-store Geek Squad related, like get a data transfer. That's normally $150. That's free. So it definitely is worth it if you find value in the protection plans. And this is literally, guys, what I say verbatim to every customer. And then when they're done, they sign up for one of them because, I'm a good salesman. But yeah, so then anything, if like you want a Geek Squad to come to your house, that would be a charge. It used to be free, like to wall mount a TV, but that's a charge now.
Oh, and I'm sure a ton of people need that service. So it makes a lot of sense.
Dude, it's going to go up too. So right now it's $250 to install a TV. It'll probably go up to $500 to wall mount the TV. There's not shots fired. I love PD7. I've met him in person. I love the man, but he literally puts out, guys, watch all of the walk and talk. They're literally the same. Like, I need you to reference this, but I love him. He loves me. It's all good. There's no shots fired. It's so funny, dude.
Yeah, I was telling him, I blamed him for getting me back into collecting toys again. Because watching his walk and talks, and he would show shows all the figures and stuff. And I think it got me to dig out all my old figures. I started buying the Turtles of Grayskull figures. I told him, you got me. I got rid of that hobby.
Yeah, that's the meat. That's the meat of the walk and talk right there. Is a toy. See, I'm not a toy guy, so I skip over that part. I'm like, I just want to hear about the Arcade1up stuff.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'm not gonna buy into the toys. I'm just not. I got my own toys in this room right here. That's about it. That'll satisfy me. Okay, so what was the random cab that you had here? That wasn't Smash
So
TV,
I think there'll be something else, and I just don't know what. So maybe that's the Robotron cab, right? I don't know what it would coincide with, but I don't think at this time frame it needs to. It's a Christmas release, right? So if you release it around that time frame, you're going to get all the Christmas sales, and maybe this is when it actually ships versus pre-orders or whatever. But I think there has to be at least one more, if not two more releases during the year. And I think that's around the time frame they would do it. I don't have a Cyrus marketing gimmick, right? That I can tie to a specific one other than to say, hey, it's the Christmas season. There's probably something new coming.
Yeah,
right?
I would think, you got to look at all the rehashes that they haven't done yet.
Yeah.
I don't have my list on me, but I know Ridge Racer Deluxe was on there, for example. Like, they haven't come out with that yet. They have an excellent working relationship with Bandai Namco. That is almost guaranteed to come out. So, that stuff like that, you have to think, like, I forgot on the list. I don't know if they're still working with Konami. That's why we did our own X-Men Deluxe. That's why we're doing Simpsons Deluxe. And we're pretty much top to bottom transfer. I can't wait till those 99 Live control decks come in. Oh my god!
Yeah.
I got a soft mod Simpsons. Jason, I know you sent me links on how to do it. Literally, dude. James, have you seen that? It's like a 2-hour video, guys. I have. It
ADHD. Really doesn't take that long.
I need somebody to do this. Send me the SD card, and now the challenge will start, because that was the meat of it. It's like getting all the files in the folders, and I'm like, oh. I can't.
So the hard to do actually doing it, the hardest part is configuring the launcher, because you have to do that on the cab, and it involves loading graphics, loading icons, deciding how you want it.
And it's cool.
That's
because
the hardest
there's
part.
Menus. Yeah. And I'm just like,
and it's not even that hard if you just take your time. And I sat there with my phone and would play, pause, do that step, play, pause, do that step. And it ends up being really easy as long as you do it that way. And it is a no regret. It is awesome because you get all
that's
those
what I want.
Up. There's just so much. And now you can add the Neo Geo stuff. Like the latest version has 60 or 80 Neo Geo games on top of it. It's insane.
My god! I would just be happy with the Cowboys of Moo Mesa. I really want that one. I'd be happy with the Simpsons, Turtles, and what was the other one?
There's G.I. Joe. There's Aliens.
Oh god, I would go. I'd go crazy with G.I. Joe, dude. Oh my god. Yeah.
It's even got non-beat 'em ups like Ghost and Goblins and stuff like that is on there. There is a ton of games.
Please, community, please.
And
I'm sorry.
So good.
I need this. Yeah, Sunset Riders. Thank you, Jason. I knew it was one of those.
Yeah, and that plays great on there. And that one is never going to come out because it's got a level in it that isn't exactly friendly for today's audiences. So they'll never release that as a title.
So that would make getting the Simpsons cab like just amazing.
Oh,
so I don't know. Everybody knows about the 139 deal now. I gave shout outs to half a dozen for doing that. I went on, confirmed it, made a video that it's an in-store purchase, and then
I'm jealous
you got the
stool with yours because I got
it's a stool.
I got mine for about the same price several years ago when Walmart blew it out, but it didn't come with the stool or the sign or anything.
Well, I will say this, guys. So you know how we're making this into a deluxe. So I have for sale the riser. So the riser is for sale. If you guys want to, any in the check Facebook Marketplace, you'll see it. I'm selling the tin sign, $20. I put the stool on for $50. The stool sold in half a heartbeat. That was already gone. So think about it. If I'm selling all this stuff, we're going to sell the control panel too. Like I told you, I sold the X-Men control panel. I'm going to sell the Simpsons one because we're going to upgrade buttons. I literally got this cab for free. It's for free. And then all I have to do is buy the 2-player control panel. So the cab cost me $100 and then we're going to get light up coin doors. With the G.I. Joe riser, dope. So
and when you get all those other games on there, that thing will be a beast.
It'll be well. Now I'll have to order a marquee for it too, Joe Sable's marquee.
So that the hack on it is first rate too, because they went through and they made Arcade1up game selection screens. So it looks totally legit. So when you launch into one of the you can launch directly into your normal Simpsons APK and get it the way it came and still play online. But then you can go into the other ones and it looks like Arcade1up. They've put all the games in the selector, so you go up and down just like the real Arcade1. It's
need
amazing.
This mod. Oh,
it is so good. Yeah.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah.
And they keep improving it, which is what's even more crazy.
Oh yeah. I want to get this done. I'm fearful that I won't be able to like all that coding and dragging up. It's a lot, dude. It's a lot for my brain to handle, man. It's a lot.
Yeah, you're making it much harder on yourself just thinking that way.
I usually do.
Yeah, you don't have to code anything. It's just click on the right thing at the right time. The most difficult part will be plugging in a keyboard and mouse.
Right? Now, if that's the case, then this will be easy.
Yeah, it's really not hard.
That'll make this cab really, really cool. So I'll be really excited about that, and we'll follow that as we go. We have
thanks, Jason.
What did Jason say? By the way,
he said nice work on the roadmap. So I kind of modeled it after. I've said this on another stream. I modeled it after Evercade. So when I originally wanted to do this, I wanted to animate it, but I didn't spend enough time to where you just saw that the blank cab with the question mark, and then when you click on it, it would reveal the cab. But that's how Evercade's roadmap is. If you look at it, they just put out like 2 weeks ago their annual roadmap, and it's just a lot of empty boxes. Here's the 2 things they've announced, and here's just when we're going to make other announcements. And they don't list what it is. One says hardware, the rest are games, right? So you know that much and that much only. That's all Arcade1up has to do. Hey, here's a list of when we're going to make cab announcements. We're not going to tell you what they are until we get closer, but here's our roadmap, and this is what it looks like.
Even doing a question mark, guys, like that draws up hype, bro. Like
it does.
That simple.
And Evercade didn't need a show to put that out, right? They just made the graphic and they pushed it out, and all the YouTubers picked it up and started talking about it. That's all Arcade1up has to do to generate hype. And they don't even go that far, which is crazy to me.
And another thing too, that like what At Games does is they give you like a promotional pack, so you have all these graphics and stuff that you can use for your thumbnails and talk about it. Arcade1up, please do that. I'm talking to you in the camera.
They do, we know they do that, right? They do that for media. They have press kits that they used to release every year when they went to CES that had videos. It has high res images of all their cabs from all the different angles and stuff. And it's like, why they don't do that to like an influencer list or, just post them on their website where you can get them. I know you can still find the old ones, but I haven't seen them for any of the new ones.
Yeah. Well, if you find them, send them to me because it's frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I pulled
even...
I pulled the old ones because they are out there and you get all those assets, but I haven't seen them for any over the last 2 years. It's all
like I was trying to get for my Simpsons thumbnail, I was trying to get the Simpsons cap, but I couldn't remove the background. And 12 tries I tried this, and I'm like, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
It was just frustrating. Okay, so don't want to cut anybody off, but I gotta go. James, thank you for having me on. My wife is in the building, and we're gonna play some arcade games, guys. So the kids are asleep. This is exciting. I appreciate you having me on, James. This is very fun.
I appreciate you coming on. I am so spent. so I'm tired. I got a long road trip tomorrow. So
yeah, what's the drive? How many hours?
It's 8.5 ish.
Okay, it's a full working day.
Yeah,
you get
but
a lunch in there too.
I love driving, so like for me, it's so relaxing because I can just sit back, not think about anything but the road and the radio. Or like I told you like while you were streaming, I just had you on listening while I was driving. Because like I can listen to that stuff, like YouTube and stuff like that, and not have to think about anything and just chill, which is so different than the rest of the time when I'm not at work stressing about everything. I'm at home with 2 toddlers bouncing all over the place, right? So,
so you know what it's like, man. This is exhausting. This is exhausting. They're like little monkeys. Okay, James, we'll have to have you on at the Cornercade and bring this roadmap. I love it. Bring this with you, and we're gonna talk because I'm all about this. This is my. That's why I said I gotta go, honey. We gotta get on here. I gotta talk about this because this is what a lot of people don't like talking about sometimes is like, hey, there's no news, but there's always news because you make the news. That's how we get creative. So you gotta dig deep. It's not always given to you, through a bottle. You gotta really work for it. And I love like predictions type stuff. I love, because it starts to unfold a little bit. That's where we made our 2024 Deluxe list. And what I want to do is I want to cross our maps together and see where things can lie. I think that'd be really, really cool. It's exciting. So we'll have to have you on in the future here if you can make time in your hectic schedule kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be great.
Guys.
Appreciate you jumping on, and I'm going to sign off too, everybody. Thanks for joining. I have got to go to bed and get some sleep.
Let's go.
I'm still probably going to jump back over, so look for a trillion videos from me from this Midwest Gaming Classic. I shot so many hours of videos, met tons of YouTubers. Oh, you'll like this. Danny, I'll tell you this before we sign off real quick. So I ran into Phoenix Resale, and I recorded a spot with him where and I screwed it all up. But he did it, and it was great. Where he shouted out OTG and told everybody he's the #1 Arcade1up YouTuber and how much he loves Arcade1up. And I was all like, "This is great." And then I looked, and I had accidentally hit record before the interview. And then when I went to hit record for the interview, I turned off recording. So I have Caleb right before we did it and right after we did it.
So we missed it.
But the interview was missed. I was so pissed. I was like, "Oh, come on." I went out of my way to make sure that
would have been, I would have sent it to him in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, I was going to do it and tag him in it and everything because I was like,
great.
like since he's all tied up with that whole Phoenix Resale thing, and then on top of that, he's shouting him out. But yeah,
you win some, you lose some, right? That took the L right there for sure. But that's okay. You tried.
All righty. Well, that's it for me and everybody else. Thanks for joining. And
hold on. We gotta comment on this video, guys. If you like the discussion that we got going on with this timeline for Arcade1up, comment down below, guys. Leave a like on this video if you haven't. How many people we got in here? I can't. We're on. What is this? With the
I think there's 19 left right now.
Okay, I'm used to Restream. I'm sorry. It tells you all the facts on here.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can see all the facts. It's across the top.
Okay, it's StreamYard. This is you got to give you permission someday. We got 21.
The one thing that's annoying with StreamYard is you can't do the polls and stuff in it very easy. So it's kind of
I know.
annoying.
It's Zero Redux. I think wanted a poll in earlier, but yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
That's
so make your own poll. Comment below.
That's right.
What is missing? What didn't we say? What should be on the roadmap that shouldn't be there? Tell me I'm full of shit, or you agree. And as always, have fun until the next time, guys.
We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
All right, take it easy.